Right, everybody, we are running behind as usual. My apologies. No, I'm gonna stop this YouTube upload because that's probably gonna murder you.
Oh, keep it on, keep it on.
Talk to the no people.
Yeah, it's on.
Good.
Bulavinaka. Oh, what's up, everybody?
What is up, everybody?
7th of July. And it's a lovely Friday evening here in Sianganga.
It is a lovely Friday evening. Am I going on Facebook too?
Yeah, sure. Here you go. I'm gonna
Okay.
charge the second one.
Oh shoot, I didn't charge it, did I? My bad. So, how is this gonna work?
Just talk.
And then you can talk?
And then it's
It won't take long.
yeah, just probably 10 minutes.
Okay, okay. Is anybody in?
7.
What is going on, everybody? Sorry, I'm hot. I got my fresh skin fade going on right now. Got the skin fade. What y'all think? So today was one of those days that was just, all over the place. So it started off with waking up early for a content creation course that we take called Wealthy Creator. After which, we got the kids ready for school, took them to school, and then came back to the farm to pull one sack of cassava because the people who are cutting cane, the cooking crew needs a bag of cassava. So gave them one bag of cassava. While we we're in the cassava farm, the cane truck called us because he was stuck. So then I had to come and offload the tractor you can see behind me. It's we had the rotavator on it, and you can't fit the hitch with the chain with the rotavator on. So I'd take off the rotavator. It sounds like not that big of a deal, but it's a pain in the a. And they put the chain on, went and pulled out the tractor, came back, went and while we were there, then somebody called me. They wanted to buy danya, so then we went to the office farm and pulled some danya, and then brought it into town. Gave the danya, sold that, and then edited the YouTube video, which is not moving for some reason. 95%. Why is it not moving? Oh yeah, we took. Where is it? It's all in the back of the truck still, huh? We took all the dry grog in from Sangani, the one that makes you cripple. And yeah, so we bought 350 kilos. We ended up with about 67.28 kilos. So when you guys are dry, well, like if you guys want to know like the estimation for like what you're getting, I paid like from like I've done all the math and I've done it multiple times. The dry weight to the green weight ratio. Maybe this is common knowledge. I don't know. Maybe I'm the idiot. Probably am. The green weight ratio to dry is 1 kg of green yangona will yield you 200 grams. So yeah, it's 20% basically. It's around. It's like I've got it like 19.4 or 4 roughly, so around 20%. So if you want say like um um what could we say? If you want 12 kilos of dried grog, then make sure you buy 60 kilos of green, 60 kilos of green, which would be roughly about 2 bags. So if you're going with the mill mix bags, one mill mix sack is anywhere from like 31 to 35 kilos, roughly. So I don't know if you guys care, but just so you know, when you're buying Yangona, one mill mix bag of green grog will weigh anywhere from 30 to 35 kilos. So if you get 3 bags, right, and you say they're 30 kilos each, that's 90 kilos green. You wash it, you dry it. That waka and Luena will give you about 18 kgs dried. So yeah.
You learned all this like in the previous
Well,
How do you
people
business?
just always say, "Oh, there's so much money in Yangona, in Kava. There's so much money in long beans. There's so much money in everything in Fiji. Ooh, people make so much money." And it's like, "Oh, really?" Because everybody's like, "Ooh, honey, eh? Like, honey is expensive. It's good money, good business." And I'm like, "Is it because I don't know any rich honey or any rich bee farmers?
Mm,
Don't know a single one." You know what I mean?
mm,
It's like I know wealthy uh, tech guys.
mm,
I know wealthy people who own franchises of, simple restaurants. I know wealthy hardware store owners, engineering shop owners, but
mm,
I don't know any wealthy people who grow long beans
mm,
or, so that's why the agriculture thing is hard. And I'm trying to unlock it
mm.
if anybody finds this kind of conversation interesting. But yeah, how's the connection?
Well,
How's the connection for everybody who's on here? Welcome to Friday. Friday on the mat. My name is Jonathan. This is where we just talk about whatever's going on in Fiji, South Pacific, actually all around the world, really. Um, Me and our content manager Tui, who's behind the camera. Say hello.
Bulumanaka. My name is Tui. I'm the content manager for Jonathan and Steph and the family. Boy.
Mic drop. Mic drop. Okay. Actually, okay, guys. The new YouTube video still has 5 minutes left. It's at 96% now, but it has an okay moment in it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to wait.
Oh yeah, connection is good.
You're on?
Mm.
Oh, sweet. I don't know why that one died last week. So, well, if any of you were on last week's one, my mic
Oh,
kept
so
going
it
dead.
did die.
It did. Well, it kept going off.
Okay, yeah, a little better.
So, yeah, with agriculture, I'm the reason that I obsess. I'm not OC. I'm not an OCD person, but I like to know what
Really?
the huh.
You sure in the
Why
OCD?
you think I'm OCD?
Well, you get paranoid so much when you see something like, okay,
Out of place?
yeah. Even when, like, like I notice, like, sometimes, like, I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll leave it, I'll do it later. See you, like, no, you can't just leave it like that. You have to do it.
Like what? Like what?
I don't know, like the tables or like the plates or.
Yeah.
But it's good.
You
You
don't want to live with me. You don't
mm,
want to be my
you're
husband.
not
You
like
don't want to be
that
my
bad.
friend.
You're not that bad.
No?
Like she was like, those who carry chemicals around, like.
Oh, yeah.
Those
I
are the
like
worst.
I'm actually not that concerned about clean unless it's uh like pee or poop
Oh,
and stuff like
yeah.
that.
Well,
But
like you're
I'm
not.
more tidy.
Yeah,
I'm a tidy kind of person.
like you don't carry those. What do you call that tape? Meter tape around.
For what?
Because like you said something and like.
Oh, like measure it?
Yeah. Okay. That's
Like
and
really,
you
yeah.
can notice like, oh, who
No,
broke the
I
bottle
definitely
of water?
do. Like yeah, I'm weird like that. Like see this mat is bothering me because can they see this part?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Huh?
yeah. Yeah.
Like the other one is flipped, like that post is flipped up like this, and this post is flipped down like this. So I prefer if it was also flipped up because then it's consistent.
Yeah.
But I don't really care actually, Anybody else relate with this? I feel like, and so at the end of the mat, we have another situation going on at the end of the mat. Okay.
Okay, bro, you're going on this mad thing.
So I wish too would set it up square. No, but it's the thing is actually mats are really really hard to get square. Like when they're weaving them, um, they're actually usually. I don't know if I've ever seen like perfectly square mat. Like if you fold it like into like square, like into corners.
In my village.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be hard. Why they don't know how to weave mats here? What are you
These
saying?
guys, do they weave mats here?
Before,
Mm,
yeah. But it's one of those like things like dying art.
yeah.
But anyways, we're not talking about
Well,
that.
it's
We're
not.
talking about how you
Right,
set up this
right,
mat here
right.
and how you could have done a better job.
Mm.
So you see like the lines of the tongue and groove floorboards here,
Uh-huh.
like how it's like not straight.
Bro, no.
I'd like the same
We
even gap
are
along the
going
whole
on
crack.
and off topic right now. Let's go back. Let's come back. Come back.
Okay. Yeah, where were we anyways? Okay,
You're
so I'm
OCD.
not OCD. Oh yeah, but with agriculture, I do like to know the numbers. We also not be mixing any grog today. Sorry, guys, because there's a tambu in our village right now. Uh, yeah, there was I think 1 week of like there's been some pastors from the local like Bible college here, and so like dude, like early in the morning, like 5 a.m., you hear them in the church, like they all do that like joint prayer, like where they all pray at the same time, not smoking joints and praying, like they join together and pray
It was this morning.
every morning. Yeah, maybe I didn't hear it this morning, but
Started
um,
on Monday.
yeah.
Oh,
So Monday they went from 5 a.m. to 12
oh,
p.m.
hmm,
7 hours. All the
pray.
praying, and they would stop for like 10 minutes every hour or two, and then they start again. Then they break at 3 p.m. again. They started and they
Hmm.
went to like 6 or 7. They're like, dude,
Dedicated.
they're definitely going to heaven.
Dude, come on.
No, I mean it's no.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm
yeah, yeah,
exaggerating. Okay,
yeah,
people,
yeah,
you guys, I have a really bad sense of humor. I'm
yeah.
joking. Okay.
Um, I get your sense of humor.
Hmm.
I believe like
I believe
majority.
7% of people on our following get my sense of humor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like most of them don't get it. Like
yeah,
they don't get if you're joking or if
yeah.
you're
I know.
serious. I've been seeing this guy been just
Yeah,
trying to just ruin you every time when we upload our lives. It's like he doesn't get it. I feel like he doesn't get your sense of humor, and it is what it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, there's
but
one guy who doesn't get it.
yeah,
Oh, shoot.
and he hates you to the core, bro.
Oh, really? Is he a
Yeah.
Twitter guy?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
He's like full on. Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
No, no, no. He's always on YouTube, and yeah,
Oh,
like
cover your mic. What's his name? What's his name? Cover your mic. Oh,
yeah, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
all good.
Yeah,
I love him.
yeah.
Um,
But like, how would you like explain yourself, like in your sense of humor, like how people would? Is it a Canadian thing or is it?
uh, I don't even know. I'm not actually. You know, people say like a dry sense of humor. I don't actually even know what a dry sense of humor.
Like dark? Would
Yeah, I
you
think
say
it's
you
just
have a
dark.
dark humor?
No, I think probably my sinful vice is like inappropriate humor. Like
Mm,
people will say something, I'll be like,
okay.
and like, dude, especially when I was like an elder at a church, I was like, like, and now and still now, but like, I hear it all, and I
Right.
reckon, and like, I'm the first one to be like, that's what she said. Like in my mind, I was like,
kind of like my massage,
huh?
my shoulder massage,
Where?
like the one I bought the other day.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
one.
yeah. That's a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Well, but like it's funny. Like when I came, like we just clicked. Well,
Yeah,
sense of
yeah,
humor,
it's
like,
true. It's true.
and that's what Steph said. I'm like, wow, I do get it. I do
Okay,
get you.
yeah,
And then,
yeah, no, and that's actually been a blessing
uh,
because like I can't imagine like so Tui, our content manager, like who you guys are listening to right now, he lives with us, and
mm.
so it'd be very very difficult if he didn't. Yeah, it'd be weird if he didn't get it. Not weird. It would just be really different, really really different. Yada. Iyo, kau main pulni soccer may isang. Okay. Yeah. um. Yeah. So yeah, back to agriculture stuff. Why? What are you reading?
Huh?
Is
No,
it?
no. Normally,
Oh, hey Norm, what's up?
I'm going to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, yeah. This. Yeah, I'm.
Normally, he has a good sense of humor.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see that every time.
yeah. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate Norm on the chats. Um, yeah, with the agriculture stuff, you get lots of people in Fiji just saying like, "Oh yeah, no, that he's a really successful farmer of X. Let's name a vegetable or name a crop." Or he's really rich, and there's lots of money in pumpkins.
Mm,
Oh, lots of money in Yangona, the kava, right? And until I think it's just like people don't break down like the profit and loss, you know,
mm,
equation. like um say for instance, like if I was going to sell the grog that we bought, right?
Right.
Because say okay, so I bought 350 kilos, $8 kilo. I spent $2,800 Fijian, right? Now I spent another, plus I spent the gas to go up there, right? So that was probably $100 in diesel, right? So now we're at 2,900, right? So then Koroy was here helping us chop it up for that day. So that's for another um well, and then he helped me today. So it's like another $100 in wages, right?
And then
And then so now we're at 3,000. Now we had to pound it today, which is another 200. So now we're at 3,200. And so yeah, so now so just that basic math. I mean, it's super basic, but nobody really like if you ask somebody like what's your profit margin, if you go into like people who do farming and stuff, especially farmers like rural, like small scale farmers, um, they don't know how much they spend. Like they don't value their time. There's no value for their time, which is fine. I mean, time is not money for everybody, and nor should it be. But it's worthwhile to know, like you paid a tractor this much, um, and this is how much you spent in spray. This is how much you spend in fertilizer. So if you sell it for that amount, you're actually losing money. Not even taking into account for the time you spent on it, right? Because like you can't really quantify people's time, especially in rural settings, because that's what they have, right? So like that's what I'm doing with the office boy stuff. Is like I don't have the time to be on the farm, but I have the machinery. So we do the groundwork, and then we work with somebody who has the time, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, the thing is, it's like, oh, I feel like if I was somebody who's listening to me say this, it might be like, oh, you're saying like you have money or you have the stuff and like they have time, because they have no money. It's like, no, like one is no less important than the other. Ada. Um, one is no less important than the other. Like if I have the stuff, but I don't have the time to plant and harvest, I don't plant anything. I'll just be working the ground. And if the other guy, if like so he's got the time. If I don't show up, then he's not planting anything, right? So, but like without me, he can't do it, and without him, I can't do it. So it's literally a 50-50 thing. Like no one is actually less important than the other guy in this equation, right?
yeah.
And so yeah, with the grog, like figuring out like, okay, your dry weight is about 20% of your green weight. That really helps. That number really helps when oh, iloma. Inabalibo. Huh?
Let me go look for it.
Okay. I think it's on the tarpaulin. Sorry guys. We're live. We're live. We're trying to find the rugby ball for the little kids. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it's really helpful it was really helpful for me to figure out like the percentage of, if you buy grog, you're gonna be green, then you know how much you can spend on it. If you know how much you can sell it for, then you can reverse engineer everything, right? Your cost and everything. And so like, okay, I can only spend $6 a kg green, which means that you might only get 1 or 2 year old waka, say for instance, right? So I don't get the best profit margins because I buy older Yankona. And you guys saw that, I think, on some of our posts or some of our stories, at least on social media. Like some of it was like bigger than my thumb, way bigger than my thumb. So it was
The what?
the waka.
Oh,
Yeah, it was quite. Oh gosh. Sorry guys, I got like I'm trying to like massage that like thing in my neck here. I got like.
You want that massage?
Hey, no, thank you. No, thank you. So yeah, if you guys got questions about any of this, and just let us know in the comments. I'd love to discuss it. because there's so much like smoke and mirrors, and like supposedly people make lots of money doing this. It's like, so for instance, like I have a friend who has a store. How do I say this without like telling who it is?
Mm,
Who has a store, and they have many stores across Fiji, right?
mm,
And people think like, oh, they make some like, oh, they're very, very rich from their store.
mm,
It's like actually, there's not a lot of margin in their store.
mm,
The You don't know that in the back end they have a company that imports stuff and then sells it to all the other companies as well as their store. So they actually, the store is just like a front, like their family name is all over the
mm,
country, and
mm,
they run a good operation. But like most of their money, most of their margins is made on the stuff that they import, like the freaking 5 to 10 containers of stuff they import every month. And then picture like importing 200 liters of liquid X, whatever you want to say. And then they have the small bottles, like 500 milliliters, and they just put it into small bottles and they sell it at a higher price. So it's like, that's how they make their money, not actually from their storefronts. And so like some people, some people, they look at people like, whoa, he sells tomatoes at the market and he drives a brand new Hilux. It's like, yeah, but his tomatoes didn't buy him the Hilux. It's his weed farm where he grows the tomatoes between the weed. You know what I mean? Like really, for some of these farmers, right?
Like, oh, you got a new
I've
Isuzu
met,
D-Max?
I've met people, even fans of ours. We talked about this other day, right?
Yeah.
Who are like, yeah, like young people, and they like walk up to me like, man, I'm a big fan, take pictures. I'm like, what do you do? Like, oh, like I'm a grog farmer. Just been farming for like 2 years, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's your twin cab? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So Yangono, you usually harvest minimum after 3 years, maybe 2 years, but 3 to 5 years. And you got a new Hilux? I mean, anything else planted? You intercropping a little something, yeah, some of that. Some of that. Yeah. So I know that happens a lot. There's a lot of weed in Fiji for sure. Even though it's like super illegal.
Well, from the looks of it, we're going to in that direction. And then there's been a lot of talks
Like legalizing. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is a different conversation. Yeah, which is a good conversation. So I come from British Columbia, where it is like super legal. Like it was. I mean, it was almost unpoliced up until it was legal. So, like, in the city we lived in, 1 in every 5 homes was a grow up. So, which means that they had an illegal amount of marijuana every 5 homes growing in the house. Okay. So yeah, like you just walk into somebody's house, they have a pot plant, and it's like, oh, there's some buds on that plant. Nice. Wonder what that is. Have some brownies? No, thank you. I'd like to drive home. Like, I've actually never had weed or edibles, but I was talking to a Nigerian friend of mine once. Who like he ate some brownies at somebody's house, and they didn't tell him, which is pretty dangerous or like kind of rude, I guess. Like I mean, like he said they got freaking destroyed. Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah, just one. But they were like one, and they're like
another one.
And then before you know it, like they had too much, right? Yeah. And so THC is processed differently when it's inhaled into your lungs like when it's inhaled into your lungs compared to when you ingest it and eat it. Yeah, your digestive system turns it becomes a hallucinogenic. So if you eat it, it can be.
So it's better to smoke it than to eat it.
Yeah, like if I'm not mistaken, I don't think anybody's ever overdosed smoking marijuana. Like yeah, it's not possible from my understanding. Shoot me down in the comments if I'm wrong. So if Fiji goes in the direction of legalizing weed,
how would you say, like, if Fiji does that, like, how should the government approach it and how do they do it?
So there's a couple ways I look at it. I see like equally as much good and as bad. I think I might see more good in it just because like my big opinion is like it becomes a taxable thing by the government
Mm.
at that point, because then you have like what we did in British Columbia. People can set up weed shops,
Mm.
and weed is taxed like tobacco,
Mm.
and people don't go to their underground dealers anymore
Mm.
because they can go and they can get a strain and it's safe. It's
Mm.
not going to be laced with like fentanyl or something like that. Um, it's checked, it's pre-approved, and the government taxes the living hell out of weed. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I think there has been reports that like it's gotten like so expensive, like in the shops,
Oh.
like in the town we live in, Kelowna. There's a weed shop on every block, 100%, maybe more.
Mm.
Like there'd be a weed shop here, there'd be a weed shop down at that greenhouse down there. They're everywhere, everywhere. Um, and so I think it brings something that's in the darkness into the light,
Mm.
kind of thing. It's like if you say something's bad,
Mm.
then it people always like kind of like digress to the bad to the things they're like, oh, I want to do it because it's bad. But if
Mhm.
you're like, oh, it's legal, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, it's not a big deal.
Mm.
Like, yeah, I think that's a really slippery slope though, because you're like, oh, stealing, right? Now it's
Mm.
legal. It's
Mm.
like, oh, well, now we can just steal. No, nobody will want to steal anymore because now it's legal. It's like,
Mm.
I don't think that logic necessarily works.
Yeah.
But uh, I do think that if you remove like the like, oh, it's such a bad thing, it people are just like, I don't care anymore.
Mm.
Especially teens.
Mm.
It's not like a rebellious thing to go smoke weed then.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's my big argument for it, is that the government can now tax it.
Mm.
Uh, yeah. But I know it is a gateway drug for a lot of people.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's true necessarily, like scientifically, but I've heard from people who have kids who are addicted to other drugs that they would say like the way they started off
Mm.
or their first high was weed. And after that, they had to look for like another high and a stronger
Mm.
high and a strong,
Mhm.
and then they end up on meth or something like that, like
Mm.
crazy, right? So,
Speaking of drugs, I wanted to show you an article. I remember.
oh, shoot, okay.
But like, can I just read this question out to you
Yeah, sure.
from Ryan? Do farmers calculate their profit loss for each project or specific fruit or vegetable, or do you only look at the larger picture at year and as long as the farm is creating income?
I think that really depends on the farm. I only know Face ID, Face ID. I only know one person that does calculate their like what or knows what they planned
Mm.
and tracks it and tracks the sales. I only know one person. So, um I don't know. There must be other people must, but it's not very common to track what you spend, what goes out, and what comes in. So, um, I don't know. I don't even. Maybe it's something that I overlook. Maybe that's something that we should like teach in Fiji.
Hmm.
Hey, like an education kind of thing, like just really basic, like profit and loss
Yeah.
um, analysis for farmers.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be valuable for people. I'm not interested in just going around and doing these awareness campaigns for people like nobody's interested in. But yeah, I think we need more of it. We need more of it for sure.
Mm.
Uh, I would like to be a person that would be able to help people be able to get their stuff to market
Mm.
and to have a place where I buy from people and can then help those people who sell to me be like, you know, this is what I'm paying you, and then do the education with my own customers and be like, how much did you spend on, and have like a breakdown, like, hey, because I know you spent how much did you last spend on land preparation? How much did you spend on your seeds? How much time every day did you put into this? How much, you know, did all this cost?
Mm.
And now this is how much I just paid you.
Mm.
You're gonna harvest again next week. So, and then at the end, before they say turn that crop over and plant something else, be like, hey, this is how much you spent overall, and this is how much time you spent, and this is how much I paid you. Right?
Mm.
Great job. Or like, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
You should try another crop,
Hmm.
something like that.
Hmm.
Maybe that'd be kind of cool,
Hmm.
uh, because I think that kind of education is not done because people don't want people to be watching the numbers. Everybody
It's
just
sort of
wants to
like
rip
what.
each other. Everybody wants to rip the other person off, right?
But I think it should be something that we need to like talk about and share and like make it
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it should be
so if
like,
people know, understand how the costs works and all this,
yeah,
they might be thinking, like, oh, that's like so much money we could like able to throw it around, but what they don't know is the money that we waste
yeah,
into those little things, and sometimes they don't hold those, like accounted for.
yeah.
It's like, oh, it's just diesel, but it's still money,
Oh yeah, for
right?
sure. Yeah, like people don't account like, okay, the transport to take their. You see, you have 5 bags of Kumala, right?
Yeah,
Say, 5 sacks. You got to take it to town. It's like saying like the bus that's gonna cost you $50, right? One way,
mm,
even if you come back on the bus,
mm,
for $5 or whatever it is,
mm,
like that's $50. That's a big chunk
mm,
of your profit.
mm,
It's gone. If you don't take that into account,
mm,
just that last trip after you harvest it,
mm,
if you don't have a vehicle. So even if you do have a vehicle, it's $25 in diesel, right?
mm,
And that needs to be taken into consideration, right?
mm,
Like the other day, I was like, this last Saturday, I had to take some danya to the market, and I just took my motorcycle because I should have. What I should have done is just like taken it on one of our other runs, but I had forgotten about it. So I was like, I can't justify driving the truck in, so I'm gonna take the motorcycle. It was like $20.
mm.
I took like a pretty big amount of it, and it was only $20. And I'm like, well, half of that will just go to filling the bike up. So
Filling the
then I
bike
went
up,
to the
coming back again.
I went to the gas station, put in $12. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, $8. But that was just more to keep the promise to the guy that I said, because he was relying on my shipment.
Yeah.
And I said to him earlier in the week, I kind of blew him off. He's like, "You coming later this week?" I said, "Yeah, I'll be there on Saturday."
Yeah.
And then Friday night he called me, and I had it in my calendar.
Yeah.
It was going to remind me on Saturday morning, but I'd totally forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh yeah, tomorrow morning."
Yeah.
And like I was like, "Fine,
Yeah.
I'll do this trip just to keep my promise." But yeah.
It all goes back to it.
Yeah, then pretty much all of it went back to just putting the gas back in the motorcycle. Yeah. So whatever. Oh
I
yeah,
wanted to show you an article that I saw. It was
yeah.
yesterday.
Okay. Should I read this?
Yeah, like
Okay. I'm gonna open this up and
it
I'm
doesn't
going
have to
to
be, like those hardcore drugs.
I say I
Kids
dropped it to my
nowadays, they use the very thing that we don't think that would be able to use it as a form
right.
of drug.
Right. So this is an editorial. Uh I won't read the name because I don't know if we're gonna rip this apart or if we're gonna agree with it. So what in the world are we coming to when children start ingesting hand sanitizers? How is it that this has become the latest fad? This harmful behavior among some of our children is a major concern and a nightmare for the powers that be. As work continues to try and address this behavior, we are reminded about the harmful impact of glue sniffing. Assistant Minister for Women sounded the alarm this week to alert parents. She said the ministry has been receiving a lot of reports of children eating glue on bread and drinking hand sanitizers. And the harsh reality is that most of the reports she noted were from informal settlements and rural areas. Um, She said they're working on with other ministries and agencies to engage the children in vocational programs because some of the children were skilled and very talented. But think about that. Exclamation mark. Some children are reportedly eating glue on bread and drinking hand sanitizers. Reports had been received about the boys drinking methyl hydrate hand sanitizer with juice. We are finding out that children are eating glue on bread. This is not new. Several of these kids on the streets, the $1, $2 given to them is going to glue, and the government is trying to regulate that right now. How are we going to regulate this? Um, oh, yeah. So, one of the issues has been identified, she said, is involving parents leaving the country for the Pacific Australia Labor Mobility Scheme. So, this is like NAC, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pacific Australia Labor Mobility scheme, and children being sent to live in urban areas with their grandparents or other relatives. So the parents leave to work overseas because they've been set up with this agreement that we have with Australia to get them visas and get them work overseas, right?
Mm.
So they can
Mm.
send money back home, but then the parents go overseas and the kids have nowhere to be, so the kids get sent to other relatives and grandparents.
Mm.
That's what they're saying. In the face of this, it is encouraging to know that the ministry is working with the Ministry of Youth and Police to build trust with children and work on rehabilitation. Encourage them to work with other ministries to engage children in vocational programs. Um, we know that some of these people are very talented. The kids are talented in music and sports. We need to get these things into their lives, but it is a tough battle. We are encouraged by the concerted effort to bring about change in the lives of children impacted by this shocking behavior. There will be many questions we have as a nation. Oh, many questions. What we have as a nation come to what have we as a nation come to when our children engage in such behavior? We understandably are not immune to the woes of the world, especially when it comes to drugs and alcohol. So the next question would be, how are we addressing this as parents and guardians? Good question. The state has outlined a plan. The challenge we have is making our position as parents and guardians clear and being part of the solution. How are we impacting the minds of our younger ones? It is sad that some of our children are engaging in such harmful behavior. The key, though, is with us as stakeholders. Whoa, to provide the motivation to do the right thing. I freaking hate that word, dude. So hard. Heavy H on the hate. Hate that word. Heavy H. You know, it was the article is like wrapping up so nicely.
Right.
What are there'll be many questions. What have we come to as a nation? Like big N
Mm.
nation, not big N, big nation. Let's just say like the overarching. The state has outlined a plan, but then he goes, the challenge we have is making our position as parents and guardians clear, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's where it makes it personal.
Yeah.
Like, because I was worried he wasn't going to get to this. We're talking about ministries, we're talking about that kind of stuff, the children. And
Mm.
it's like, who are children the responsibility of?
Mm.
The parents,
Mm.
right? So this would be a parenting issue, not a children issue.
Mm.
This would be a parenting issue, not a national issue.
Mm.
This would be a parent issue, not a Ministry of Youth and Policing issue.
Mm.
This is a parenting issue, right? Well, what do you
Mhm.
think?
I agree.
I think that there's no question in my mind.
Mm.
So he says, the challenge we have is making our position as parents and guardians clear and being part of the solution. No, we're not part of the solution. We are the solution.
Mm.
Speaking as a parent. How are we impacting the minds of our young ones? Like, how do I say this? I don't think it depends what kind of parent you are. But like, if you're a parent that only gets to impact the life or the mind of your young one, then like, that would be parent, you know, very distant from the child.
Mm.
You should be shaping their mind,
Mm.
not impacting their mind. Like,
Mm.
impacting is like, I hit you every once in a while, that
Mm.
like, I'll give you an impact to like push you in the right direction.
Mm.
Like, impact is like, Interstellar, like when they're like, Interstellar, is it the one with Sandra Bullock and
Interstellar.
George
George Clooney.
I almost said George Floyd.
Yo.
Starring Sandra Bullock and George Floyd. And he like pushes her to like give her a boost. Like, he makes an impact, and in space, like, you need like a push in the
yeah.
direction, and you just go in that direction, right?
Mm.
But like, I think as parents, like, we actually like grab our kids, like, if like we actually like grab our kids
Mm.
and we push them and turn them in the direction that we want them to go. That's how we should parent,
Mm.
right? Some people call it brainwashing. I call it parenting.
Mm.
Our kids can change their mind once they're out of my house. They're free to do that.
Mm.
But like, this is how I do it,
Mm.
right? I'm a follower of Jesus, Christian, whatever you want to call it. So I will raise my kids in that way. If they can't hear. Oh, set. Is it like get a battery warning?
Yeah.
Oh no, is it charging?
Yeah, charging now. Yeah.
So like, yeah, some people call it mind washing or brainwashing.
Mm.
or mind control, but it's like they're free to like change their mind, but like I'm raising my kids, you know?
Mm,
I think this is the best way to raise them.
mm,
I think to give them like strong guidelines and like very clear enjoying their childhood
mm,
and and like two boys way for me to be a good father is to love their mother.
mm,
Because what are they gonna do? They're probably gonna go and find a girlfriend, you know, like we all have feelings, you know. Did we want like partners forever? And
mm,
so like that's my responsibility as a parent, right?
mm,
Is to create great men. And so and create hard men. And so sometimes I have to be hard on the boys.
mm,
Because like soft men, what is that saying? I think I've said it before. Like soft men create hard times create hard men, hard men create easy times create soft men, and it just kind of goes in a circle. It's something like that, right? It's like a never ending circle. And so, you know, backtracking, we need to be hard on our kids. You know, they need guidelines. They need parents who will say no often, right? They need to know that like they don't get to do everything. And like we don't have to say yes. It's actually not about their happiness. It's about their safety, and it's about them doing the right thing when they get older. Like taking this lesson and applying it to their life. Even if you do want to just make them happy, because a lot of times we just want the kids to be happy. That's why you see kids just on the phones all the time, kids on tablets, you know, kids in front of TVs, whatever it is. Even and in the village setting, sometimes kids playing is because parents aren't parenting. I'm not saying this situation. I'm just saying sometimes, like people, I guess, always relate like screens with bad things, but like screens have done a lot of good. I don't think any of us are willing to give up our screens. Like, you know, let's be honest. But even in this case, the kids aren't in front of the screens. The kids are roaming around on the streets, not on screens, and they're finding drugs, right? So coming back to this, I was upset with the way that this article was ended. How are we impacting the minds of our young ones? It is sad that some of our children are engaging in such harmful behavior. The key, though, is with us as stakeholders to provide the motivation to do the right thing.
sure, the government will solve it.
Well, so when they say stakeholders, they're saying government. Yeah, guys, this is not a government. This is not a government problem. This is your problem. If you're a parent, your problem. If you're a parent who just sends your kids out to play and because you don't want to parent and you don't do the homework with them, or if you're a parent that lives overseas and left your kids with their grandparents, or if you know if your kids don't grow up the way that or doing the things you don't want them to do. I'm saying like some people have to do these things, right? Like that's it's okay. It's okay if you have to go overseas and send money back, but like um it's our problem as parents, I'm saying. And we need so it's the key though is with us as stakeholders to provide the motivation. No, I wish you would have just ended it. The challenge we have is making our position as parents and guardians clear and being part of the solution. What's up?
It's riding horse.
Yeah? Fun?
Yes, boy, I went riding with the horse.
Yeah?
All the way to Ghana.
Nice. Fun.
Woo!
Okay, go play rugby.
I just want to get stuff.
Huh? Oh, change? Okay, then come see me, yeah? Oh, I don't know. What are you doing?
I just want to get in.
Okay. Oh, okay, up to you. Yeah. No, those your clean clothes? They're wet? Sorry guys, we're live. Okay, just go play. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Just go play in your wet clothes. Okay, whatever. Um yeah. Does that make sense?
Mm, there's
Is there anybody who has an opinion about anything I said?
Neo 3, I guess it's more on the parents, something that we need to address from home. And maybe how's the government supposed to help? Is 100%. Normally, oh yeah, the movie is called Gravity. Oh, that's a bunch of articles.
Yeah, yeah. Um Yeah, it's just that we can't make like, okay, government have opinions about the, the knack or the palm scheme, sending, these people overseas. Um, but some of these people need those opportunities, right? I think there is a lot of opportunity in Fiji, but I don't think a lot of people see it that way. So we just have this is an ownership thing as parents. I believe we have to take ownership for. So yes, thank you guys for joining us today. By the way, we have another hot topic to hit in a little bit, and I don't know if I want to talk about it or not. I did some research on it today to see like why I have the opinion I have on the TELS stuff. The TELS. So if you guys got any opinions on the TELS stuff, please drop it in about the government forgiving the 650 million uh, student, 650 millions of student loans. Yeah. If you guys got any opinion on that, let me know. You got internet right now?
Do you?
Uh, trying to refresh his page.
What's the long form? Tertiary education loan.